Hello, I'm Katie, and this is my kitchen that needs to be remodeled. This is in our 1919 Craftsman style home, and originally when I purchased the home a little over 3 years ago, I thought that this was going to be one of our first projects, but here we are, over 3 years later. And we actually weren't planning on starting this project when we did, but the sink started leaking and it was time. The tile countertops were not doing so hot. We closed that bottom cabinet one day and those tiles just fell off. So the grout and the mortar was starting to let go in some areas. But we like the cabinets themselves. They're a nice heavy duty wood. And whoever installed them originally did a really good job. They're holding up to time, and all the drawers work. All of the doors are in good condition. We like the hardware. It needs to be cleaned up, but we do like the shape of that hardware. And I think a couple different people have done some projects in this kitchen over the years. You can see there how the dishwasher is just kind of tossed in there where there used to be a cabinet. And it's not doing so great. And then they hacked this cabinet apart to be able to get a bigger refrigerator in that space. And the rest of that cabinet's actually down in the basement. But we plan on cleaning that up and opening the area around the fridge. And then also ripping up a couple layers of flooring. Not sure how many layers are there. And putting in some new flooring. This tile... the grout isn't in very good condition, and then it's cold. I don't like how cold that tile is on my feet. So starting out by ripping out the backsplash. This came out a lot easier than I thought it was going to, and we plan on replacing it with another backsplash, some type of stone. Haven't picked it out yet at this point, but planning to paint the cabinets, restore the hardware, and we decided on butcher block countertops. So because of that deep corner there, we got a quote for just laminate countertops, nothing fancy, and it came in way over budget. So started looking into butcher block, and I've always been intrigued by butcher block countertops. I'm a little nervous about maintaining them, but we'll see how it goes and see if we like it. We don't think we're going to stay in this home forever, so it'll be a good test to see if we like them. And just ripping out tile. It came out a lot easier in some areas than others, especially where the countertop had been patched in where they removed that cabinet under the dishwasher. That tile came out super easy. And then the tile back here in the corner was a little bit harder to get out. And then the amount of screws that whoever installed this under portion of the countertop, the amount of screws that they used in there was absolutely insane. It was so hard to find those screws under all of that mortar. And they had actually plugged the wood holes with like wood glue and wood shavings to hide the screws. So I'm really curious what type of countertops were here before this tile. Because I'm assuming whoever installed this underlayment portion of the countertop is the same individual that installed the cabinets themselves. So we did decide that old oven was going to stay where it's at. We couldn't find a replacement that is that size. And I do like that oven a lot. It is a little dated looking with the knobs there, and but I do like that oven. And I love having an in-wall oven. And we ordered a new stovetop, a glass top, for that area. Just ordered it on Amazon. It is a Frigidaire, and we got some good deals right around Christmas and I don't remember if I ordered it on Black Friday or Cyber Monday or if it was after that, but it was on sale, and so got a really good deal on that. And then the sink that we picked out was a display model at Menards. So ripping out those counters was a good feeling. It was getting kind of late at night by the time that we were done, but the time went by fast. And we wanted to try and get this part of the project done as quickly as possible because we had family coming to do the sleigh ride. which we have another video of that sleigh ride up on our channel. So if you want to see our horse-drawn sleigh ride through the farm with the Christmas lights, you can check that out on our channel as well. It was a ton of fun, but kind of a weird time to have your kitchen half tore apart. So we wanted to get it functional again by the end of the weekend, since we were both working a lot of hours right before Christmas and needing to get this project going, mainly because the sink leaked. I kind of felt like it was that children's book with the mouse of, if you give a mouse a cookie, they're going to ask for a glass of milk. Because the sink was leaking, we just got new countertops and a new sink and a new stove, and just kept going and going. So I'm really happy with the progress that we have made. It's actually the end of February that I'm recording this, just because I haven't had time to edit the videos. Been really busy this winter, a lot going on, but it's all good things. So I'm happy that you guys are here sharing this experience with us, and hopefully if you are remodeling your kitchen and doing some DIY projects, you've learned something. But it was just so odd to me that we were all decorated for Christmas and all of this stuff was out in our living room and dining room, and then you go into our kitchen and it's the disaster. But it ended up being a lot cleaner than what I thought it was going to be. I was worried about dust, but we did have a plastic curtain that we taped into the doorway while we were doing some of the work to help keep dust down in the rest of the house. And then Dobby, our house elf, our robot vacuum, help clean up a lot of the dust as well and keep that down. So it wasn't that messy of a project. And here is when we went and got the butcher block countertops. And we did quite a bit of research. I've never worked with butcher block before, so we did quite a bit of research before we started cutting these, and decided to put them on sawhorses with plywood underneath, and then we use painter's tape to mark out and cut along that painter's tape. And by doing those two items, you have less chipping of the wood from your saw blade. So we cut freehand cut most of it with that circular saw, and then did a little bit of work with some hand saws to get around some of the corners, and then a hole saw to start out our corners for the sink and that stovetop. But it turned out really well. I'm impressed with how well that fit into place. And since we didn't have any experience doing butcher block before, I would do it again at this point. I really like how it turned out, and so far I'm liking using and living in a home with a butcher block countertop. It's been easier to maintain than what I expected, so we'll see if we like it long term. It is a countertop that you have to be more careful with. If you drop something or heavy or something with a sharp corner on it, it is going to dent your wood. But pretty easy to sand out scratches or anything like that and then refinish it again. You do have to keep this sealed and continually reseal that wood as it dries out and you use it. But you can see how easily that circular saw does cut through the wood. A lot of sawdust is being cut out just because of how much material is there, and it was a little bit of a slow cutting going through that, and I definitely recommend using or wearing eye protection of some kind, because I'm notorious for not wanting to wear safety glasses, and I started on my first cut and I was like, oh, never mind, I'm gonna go find some safety glasses. So definitely make sure you're wearing those, because a lot of sawdust gets kicked up into your face. But doing a little bit of a dry fit here, and then starting to measure out where the sink and the stovetop are gonna be going. The stovetop did come with measurements and a pattern to mark out where that was going to go. Since the sink was the display model from Menards, there was no pattern or measurements with that, so we had to measure that ourselves. But we purchased a top mount. Well, it's actually, you can do a dual mount, but we wanted to mount it on top so we had more room for error and we didn't have to cut as pretty of a cut for that. But you can see how that circular or hole saw is grinding through that material there, creating our corners for us so that then I could do a plunge cut with the circular saw and cut those holes out. Not as clean of cuts doing this plunge cut and as straight as what my edges were, and I didn't spend quite as much time on it, knowing that these cuts were all going to be hidden by either the stove or the sink. But I'm really happy with how those turned out. And it was nice having the space in the garage. Our garage isn't a very nice garage, but it was nice having that space to work on this countertop. So doing another dry run fit here, really like how that's turning out. And then we pulled these pieces back out to do the final install, do the plumbing under the sink. We did find that when you plumb a single drain sink, you do need to add a vent under there. And once we had everything fit, I sanded down those countertops for the last sand using different grits of sandpaper, and then used a tack cloth to clean that surface off, get any of the dust and debris off of that surface before using the Watco butcher block finish. I'm very happy with that butcher block finish that we got, and it was quite the process getting that. It was sold out at so many stores, so we actually were all over the place trying to find this in clear. But I'm really happy that we stuck with what we chose and stayed with the Watco clear finish butcher block finish there. So here is the first coat getting ready to go on to that butcher block counter, and it looks beautiful. I love being able to see the wood grain in there and all the different colors. It's so warm feeling in this space, and I'm excited at this point, I'm really excited to see what it's going to look like with the color that I'm going to be painting the cabinets. I got really lucky and I found some cabinet paint. It was a Rust-Oleum cabinet kit in the scratch and dent section at Menards. So I will be creating another video with that coming up soon, but here is what it looks like after the first and second coat. Since then we've added a third coat. I wouldn't do too many coats back to back, let it dry and set up for a couple weeks between. But thank you so much for joining us today and seeing this part of the process. I'm excited for this kitchen to be done. I'm really enjoying the process and seeing how each project just makes this space look so much more modern, but yet also keeping true to the age of the home and restoring some of the items that were here originally. Thanks again for watching, and to see the finished project, stay tuned.